Welcome to the Detroit Lions Morning Rounds. I'm Jimmy Liao. Let's talk about Matthew Stafford. Here's the play if you're watching on the YouTube channel. He injures his right thumb right there. One thing I'd like to note, first of all, is he gets hit in the head-neck area. His helmet goes flying 10 yards, but he's fired up. Look at his face here. He's fired up. He's ready to go. He's yelling at the ref, talking to the ref, probably hoping for a personal foul call. This is completely different than how he reacted last week after his hit against the Vikings, where I strongly suspected he did have a concussion. Last week, he looked dazed. He was not fired up. Completely different reaction this week. This is how Stafford normally reacts after a play. All right, so here's the play. The best shot we have here of his thumb getting hit. The defender hits his hand while Stafford's holding the ball, likely hits his thumb there. His right hand comes off the ball. Stafford also gets hit again later right here, but probably that's not where he got injured with his thumb. Here's another angle of it. We don't really see much on this angle. Stafford's body is shielding the play there. So hard to say what's going on. Possible thumb sprain. That's most likely what's going on based on how they taped up his thumb. It's possible he has an ulnar collateral ligament sprain, also known as a skier's thumb. That's where the thumb gets bent back. Hard to say for sure, but after the taping, he looked fine. He looked great. Threw a lot of really great passes, so if anything's going on, it's likely mild. He is getting x-rays and further evaluation, but most likely he'll be ready for the Panthers game with no problems. Danny Amendola injured his leg or groin area in the fourth quarter at about the 10-minute mark. Did not see anything obvious on video. Hopefully he's okay. I don't believe he played after that point. So hopefully he can get ready for the Panthers game, but he may need to miss a game or two. Mike Ford got injured in the second quarter, possible hip pointer. He was back later, though. Justin Coleman was out for the game in the second quarter for large stretches, but he was back in the third, so hard to say if there's anything going on there. Some injury notes coming into the game. Austin Bryant started the game this week. He played a lot last week also. He looks very healthy. This is great after starting the first two seasons on PUP. Vaitai missed this game, which was good news for the Lions. I've been saying he needs to sit for a couple weeks now. He's looked hobbled on his left foot, keeps aggravating it, and I feel like that's hurting his play and hurting the entire offensive line. Not so coincidentally, the Lions' offensive line looked the best it has in a couple weeks. So I think Vaitai needs to rest until he can get fully healthy. He might need another 1 or 2 games off. Kenny Golladay is the big question mark going forward. The Lions typically like a 2-week ramp-up before playing in a game. Get some LPs the first week, miss the game, then move up to FPs before playing. Golladay has been NP the past 2 weeks completely, which means he's likely out versus the Panthers. And because the next week is the Thanksgiving game, short week, we're only a week and a half away from that game, which means he's likely out for the Thanksgiving game as well. He won't get the full 2-week ramp-up. There's a chance he could play on Thanksgiving, but he's going to need multiple LPs, maybe even get up to a full practice Friday in order for him to be ready for Thanksgiving. But I would not expect him to be back for the Panthers game or the Texans game on Thanksgiving. Expect him possibly back on December the 6th against the Bears. So that's the injury report for the Washington game. One quick thought I had about the game was the Lions' defense continues not to learn how to play defense in the second half of games. Matt Patricia does not call blitzes. He backs off on pressure in the second half of games for no apparent good reason. Lions gave up 3 straight easy touchdown drives to Alex Smith in the second half. The same guy who had been struggling in the first half. Lions had been blitzing him pretty well in the first half, sending cornerback blitzes a couple times, heating him up. But then in the second half, they rushed for the entirety of those 3 drives, sometimes only rushing 3. That does not help their coverage at all because guys were still wide open in the back end, and Alex Smith was able to find them very easily. The front four is getting tired, not getting much pressure, not getting any sacks on Alex Smith. That's the time when Patricia needs to dial up 5, 6, 7-man blitzes, heat this guy up, speed up his clock, and even get a game-killing or a drive-killing sack once in a while. Matt Patricia has not learned anything from the first game of the season. And I'm not even talking about the first game of this season, where he gave up a big lead to Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears. I'm talking about the first game of last season, where he gave up a big lead to Kyler Murray in his very first game. Lions have been dominating Kyler Murray the whole game until the fourth quarter. The defense is getting tired. Kyler Murray starts getting a groove because he's under no pressure. He's able to stand back there, throw a bunch of easy passes, and make a big comeback against the Lions and almost win that game. So Matt Patricia, figure it out. It's been 2.5 years now. Dial up blitzes in the second half of games. I don't care if you're winning big. I don't care if you're losing big. You got to send blitzes in the second half because this defense can't get pressure on the quarterback with just sending 4, and everybody's tired, so the other quarterbacks are lighting you up. All right, thanks for listening. Feel free to leave comments on the YouTube channel or Twitter at Jimmy Liao MD.